In this module of tools and equipment, we're going to explore cookware and storageware. There are five basic metals that are used in cookware: aluminum, copper, stainless steel, cast iron, and carbon steel. Aluminum pots and pans are the ubiquitous pans that you'll find in most every kitchen. They're cheaper, lightweight, commonly used, and conduct heat fairly well. However, they can have hot spots, lose heat and just as fast as they gain it, and they cannot be used with acidic food as acid in food will react with aluminum and cause a toxic reaction. Because of this also, they don't work well with induction cooktops because they're not ferromagnetic. Copper is one of the best conductors of heat. It heats and cools rapidly whenever necessary, and it's fairly heavy weight. However, if it is cheap or if it's thin, it can have hot spots, and you can't use it with acidic foods just like the aluminum. Soft metal, however, it's also easily scratched. It can be easily damaged. What you see in the picture is a product that just came from the factory. After about a year's worth of use, it will not look like this, and it doesn't necessarily retain its heat very well. Stainless steel is the preferred cooking utensil for most kitchens. It's heavy duty, easy to clean surface. It's typically clad, which we'll discuss later. Resists pitting and metal reactions with acidic foods, works with induction cooktops, and holds its heat well if clad. However, it's much more expensive than the aluminum varieties. Cast iron has been preferred for many years. It's very heavy duty. If seasoned correctly, it can also be non-stick. It gives a unique flavor to foods and promotes browning better. It holds on to its heat very efficiently. However, it's somewhat fragile, and if you drop it, things like the handles and even the lids or even the pan itself can break. It may require seasoning or reseasoning before use, and you should never soak this in water. Using soap and a mild abrasive like kosher salt works very well to clean it. Dry thoroughly and lightly oil before putting away. Much like cast iron, carbon steel is heavy duty. If seasoned correctly, it can be non-stick. It'll provide a unique flavor to foods and promote browning better. It holds on to its heat very efficiently and is less fragile than cast iron and is relatively inexpensive. The cons may require seasoning or reseasoning before use, and just like cast iron, you should never soak in water and follow the same cleaning instructions. An amalgam of several different metals, cladware, sometimes referred to as all clad because of its brand name, is using different layers of metal, including stainless steel, copper, and aluminum, to be able to provide the benefits of each one of those metals with the durability and cleanliness of the stainless steel on the inside of the pan. The pros of this is using these ladles, you get the best of both worlds. However, the cons is it can be very expensive. Additional cooking materials include things such as nonstick coatings like Teflon, terracotta, which is used in cooking things such as tangines, glass, such as Corningware, enamelware, which is also used in things like crock pots and things that are cast iron that have been coated with enamel and baked on, and silicone in the case of sill pads or even in molds that are used in baking and pastry. A sauteuse, also known as a skillet, and a sautoir, also known as a saute pan, are almost used interchangeably in many ways, but believe it or not, though there is a difference between these two. Does it make a difference in your cooking if you use one instead of the other? Let's take a look. A saute pan, or sautoir, is one with the straight sides and has a larger surface area, which makes it ideal for tasks like searing meat or reducing a pan sauce. We also like it because we're less likely to slosh things over the side. A sauteuse or skillet has a slope side and is used mainly in sauteing, the slope sides providing the ample and perfect angle for flipping your food, or as it's referred to as saute or to jump. A rondeau is a favorite staple in a chef's arsenal and should be in any home cooks as well. Sometimes called a brazier or brazier, this wide, somewhat shallow pan is similar to a stock pot or a Dutch oven, but not nearly as deep. The pan has slight sides that are straight Usually has two loop handles for easy carrying, and nearly always comes with a lid. Generally, it is made of stainless steel, copper, or a combination of clad metals. Range of possibilities include part of the rondeau's allure is its versatility. Its shape lends itself well to searing, braising, oven roasting, frying, poaching, pan roasting, and simmering or boiling. The shape is deep enough to hold liquid for poaching or braising, but shallow enough that it can evaporate to make a cooking liquid more intensely flavored. When shopping for a rondeau, look for one with a heavy base, which will conduct and retain heat well. You also want a tight-fitting lid and an oven-safe construction so you have the option to finish or even fully cook dishes in the oven. Also make sure the pan is not too wide. It should not be more than a couple of inches in diameter larger than your burner, or it won't heat properly. Like stock pots or Dutch ovens, rondeaus come in a variety of sizes. Choose one that will accommodate the number of servings you usually prepare. A 6-quart or 7-quart version should be sufficient for preparing 4 to 6 servings. A sauce pot is a cooking utensil that is round in shape with high straight sides and a longer handle. Equipped for a tighter fitting lid, a saucepan can range in sizes to hold contents from 1 pint or in sizes up to 4 quarts. They are made of materials such as stainless steel, copper, anodized aluminum, glass, and enameled steel or cast iron. A saucepan has many uses, including preparation processes such as boiling water or making sauces and soups, or for braising foods. Saucepans are very similar to a saucier pan, as both are used to perform similar tasks. The saucier pan is shorter in height and is made with a sloping sides instead of a straight side. Saucier pans provide easier access to stirring contents around the edges of the pan and a wider opening. It is easier to make with wide arcs of the spoon, spatula, or whisk. However, choosing a saucepan or a saucier pan is typically a personal preference, as both pans work equally well for the preparation of sauces and various foods. Stock pots are deep pots used for simmering stock and soups. They have long bodies and sloped sides. They're typically taller than they are wider. They come in various different sizes to accommodate various different stocks or soup sizes, and can even have a spigot at the bottom for easy draining. There are various different kinds of specialty pans, including crepe pans, which are shallow and thin and flat and used to make a crepe using the method of smoothing out the batter across the bottom. Roasting pans are used for roasting meats and vegetables. They're heavy duty and can accommodate multiple pieces in large quantities. Whole turkeys and whole cuts of meat can easily fit into these pans. They're often accompanied by a drain pan in the bottom of it. Paella pans are specialty pans from Spain used to make a Spanish dish called a paella. This is a cooked rice dish, usually with seafood. And woks are used for cooking and Chinese cooking and Asian cooking, and are typically designed for a much higher, much faster heat process.
One of the first steps in setting up your kitchen is choosing the right cookware. Cooking and cleanup are a lot easier when you have the right pots and pans for each task. Though you don't have to purchase the most expensive brands, consider investing in a good quality set that will last. Let's take a look at some of their different uses. Large stock pots are taller than they are wide and have a capacity of at least 8 quarts with 2 strong grab handles. We use these for cooking or boiling soups, stews, stocks, and pasta. This pot is great when you need to feed a crowd or make large quantities of food, like potatoes or corn on the cob. Most sets of pots and pans also come with a smaller version, which is a handy size for everyday cooking. A small saucepan is really versatile. You can use it for cooking smaller portions, steaming, or reheating. When shopping for pots, there are a few common features to look for. These are stainless steel pots with thick bottoms. They allow for even heating without scorching or burning. And at the side here, notice the handle. Look for a pot with a welded handle instead of one with rivets. A welded handle lasts longer. And in any good quality set of pots, you want tight-fitting lids. The lid helps bring things to a boil much faster, which saves both time and energy. When buying pots and pans, pay attention to the handle. I prefer a metal handle. That way, the pan can go from the stovetop right into the oven. Just be sure to use a pot holder when you take it out. Now for sauté pans, commonly called frying pans. We have 2 non-stick pans here. It's nice to have at least one large one. This one is great for making about 4 or 5 pancakes. In this smaller pan, maybe 2 eggs. Again, the metal handle is great for moving from the stovetop to the oven to cook omelets or frittatas. You should also have a good-sized roasting pan. This will hold about 2 maple leaf prime chickens. A pan this size is also good for a roast or a turkey. So these are the basic pots and pans you need to get started in the kitchen. There are a lot more you could add, but the best rule of thumb is quality over quantity. Make sure you invest in good quality pots and pans that will last for years of great meals.
These heavy-duty polycarbonate food storage containers, often referred to by the capacity in the trade name Cambro, i.e. 22-quart Cambro, are the workhorses of the restaurant kitchen and are some of the most common and useful storage containers in kitchens. They can store produce in the cooler, liquids in the freezer, and dry goods at room temperature. They are versatile enough to go from environment to environment. They come in round or rectangular designs ranging in size from 4, 6, 8, 12, 18, and 22 quarts. And they often come with matching or sized lids to accommodate them. They wash well by either hand or dishwashing and can stand up to years of usage. Other food storage options include what is often referred to by polycarbonate's trade name Lexan, or by the company trade name Cambro, consists of large food boxes. They come in full and half sizes, 3.5-inch deep, 6-inch deep, and 9-inch deep. They also have drain pans that can be used in conjunction to prevent water from draining product, such as when icing fish. Ingredient bins come in a variety of different shapes and materials. They're used to store dry items such as flour, grains, beans, rice, etc. They are often on casters so they can move around in the kitchen, bringing the food to the workstation and not the other way around. They are required to have lids that prevent any foreign objects to fall into the food. These polycarbonate and stainless steel containers, called hotel pans, are designed to be used to store small amounts of ingredients on a refrigerated make table, such as a sandwich station. Polycarbonate will not react with acids in foods like metal containers will, and they will not get so cold as to damage the food. Stainless steel will not react with most acid foods and are often used where the temperature needs to be kept very cold, since metal is a better conductor of cold than polycarbonate. They come in sizes ranging from full-size hotel pans, 2/3 pans, half pans, third pans, fourth pans, sixth pans, and ninth pans, and various other sizes. Each size is available in 6-inch, 4-inch, and 2-inch deep models. The name of the pan refers to how many of each would it take to equal a full-size pan. For example, it takes 9 of the 1/9 pans, or ninth pans, to make one full-size hotel pan. Here you can see various different configurations depending on the usage needs. Many of the configurations require the use of a spanner bar to prevent the pans from falling in.
If you want to get a job in a professional kitchen as a prep cook, which is where all cooks and eventually chefs start off at, you have to first understand the basic terminology of some equipment in the kitchen. And this will also help you if you're a home cook and you just want to pick up some stuff at your local restaurant supply store. So here we have our basic hotel pan, and hotel pans are defined by their depth. So here we have a 2-inch hotel pan that has a 2-inch depth, also called a 200. And you have a 4-inch hotel pan, which is a 4-inch depth, also called a 400. And then you have the deepest hotel pan, which is this, the 6-inch or the 600. And these can be used for any number of things like braising or holding food. It depends on the application that you want to use. Now, you also notice that some 4-inch hotel pans will have a wider brim than others, and these are used on buffet lines to hold a 2-inch hotel pan. And you'll notice that this 2-inch hotel pan will fit directly into this, and it'll fit snugly. And this is because you'll have water underneath in your 4-inch hotel pan that will be simmering, and it will keep whatever product you have hot in your 2-inch hotel pan. And you do this by using sternos, and these sternos will go in those little indents on the bottom, and you'll fit this whole thing into a stand. Now, you also have perforated hotel pans, which are basically hotel pans with holes in them, and these can be used as steamers. You can use them to drain things. And in a steamer setup, you're going to place your perforated hotel pan into a larger hotel pan that has water underneath it that's simmering, and you're going to place the lid on top. And there's a couple different lids. You have a lid with no hole on the side that traps in steam, and then you have a lid with a hole on the side that will allow a spoon to stick out, and you'll commonly see this on either buffet lines or like Hofbrau's, any restaurant that is executing off of a steam table. Now, we also have service pans, also called mise en place pans, because this is where your mise en place will go, all your prep for your line. And they come in the 2-inch, 4-inch, and 6-inch depth. And so here we have a 6th pan, and it's called a 6th pan because you can fit 6 into a hotel pan. The same with the 9 pans or 9th pan, and this is because you can fit 9 9th pans into a hotel pan. And obviously, same thing goes with a 3rd pan, and it's called a 3rd pan because you can fit 3 to a hotel pan. Now, there are also half hotel pans, which are simply just half the size of a hotel pan, still coming in a 2-inch, 4-inch, and 6-inch depth. And you also have these large sheet trays, which can be used for any number of things, roasting, reheating, baking, whatever you want to use them for. And then you also have half sheet trays, which are literally half a sheet tray. Now, before we go, one last thing, you'll normally see these roasting racks or just a rack insert for large sheet trays. And this is good for resting meats anytime you want a product to be elevated above the pan so it's not sitting in its own juices. Now, for more information, including posting questions and comments for this episode, head on over to stellaculinary.com/KP14 for the show notes.
Zip top bags, often referred by their trade name Ziploc, are an indispensable storage device for kitchens. They allow the storage of dry goods and other small quantity items. They can be used in the freezer or refrigerator as easily as they can be in dry storage, and they can even be used in sous vide cooking. A plethora of sheet pans are necessary in the kitchen. They come in a variety of different sizes, but most common sizes are the full size and half size. They can be used for storage, organization, baking, and a number of different usage. While not exactly a food storage container, the speed rack is essential for storage and movement within the restaurant. They can fit full-size and half-size sheet pans readily. They can be left open, wrapped with plastic for transportation and air protection, or draped with a specially designed shroud. Let's surmise and look at some of the takeaways for this lesson. Takeaway number 1. Not all cooking metals are identical. Cheap cookware often translates into cheaply made and burnt product. Takeaway number 2. You want to pick cookware based on your budget, but also by its intended use. You don't necessarily need copper pans to saute most foods. Takeaway number 3. Specialty cooking surfaces allow for more versatility in the cooking process and different results. Takeaway number 4, just like metals, choosing the right pot or pan is essential for the job. You should never use a rondeau to simmer stock for a long time because evaporation will be more significant. Use a stock pot instead. Takeaway number 5, the right size storage bin is essential. Why store 2 quarts of stock in a 22-quart container? It simply doesn't do the right job, and it takes up too much room in your coolers. And takeaway number 6, you can never have enough hotel pans, no matter what size you have. This presentation will attempt to give an overview of the different smallwares and pieces of equipment that you'll experience in a restaurant environment. However, it's not an exhaustive list. For more information, I suggest ktom.com, which can be accessed at the link on the screen.